last episode, I talked about the moment I realized I'd been performing. Now, if you listen to that episode, it wasn't an intentional situation. It was just out of habit and survival. It was out of whatever old wiring was still running the show for me. And I've been thinking about something that sits underneath that, something I see in almost every leader I work with, something that I lived for years without even noticing. And it's this: it's the role of being the capable one. And it's wild how early it actually starts. You don't wake up at 40 or 50 and suddenly become capable. You've been doing it since you were what, 10, 12, maybe even earlier. Maybe you grew up in a house where you were the person that needed to be steady. Maybe you figured out that being reliable kept things calm. Maybe you were the one that noticed the tension before anyone said a word. And you adjusted and you stepped in and you held things. And just like in the previous episode, when I was being like that, people liked it. And it would be the same for you. They trust it, they depend on it. And so what happened was you became very good at it. So good that it became the only version of you that people recognized. And the part that sneaks in and up on you is that you start believing that that's the only version of you that's allowed. The one who can handle things, the one who doesn't wobble, the one who doesn't ask for a single thing, and the one who steps in before anyone realizes what needs to happen, what needs doing. And you keep doing it because, well, what's the alternative? Let something drop, let something fail, let something fall apart, let someone else take responsibility, let yourself be supported. Yeah, no, that feels pretty foreign. And then there's usually the late at night situation where you're finally still and you've realized you've built a life where everyone else gets to lean on someone except for you. And that's the cost. Your nervous system learns this way before your mind does, before you're even conscious of it. It learns that steadiness keeps things calm, that predictability keeps things safe, being the one who can keep the world from tipping over. So you keep doing it because it's easier. You think it's easier. And you do it when you're tired and when you're stretched already and when you're over it. Your body doesn't care about your potential. It cares about risk and it cares about not being blindsided. And that's why so many leaders feel stuck. And not like a stuck, I don't know what I want, more like I know exactly what I want and I still can't move. I still can't take the action because your system is protecting the version of you that survived the early years, the version that held everything, the version that didn't have backup, the version that learned to stay so small that nothing collapsed. And the cost of that is you stop noticing how much pressure you're under. You stop noticing how alone you feel. And you stop noticing that you haven't exhaled in months, maybe even years. And there's a line I hear myself say a lot in sessions, and it lands every time. You're not tired because you're doing too much. It's not from overworking or too many tasks. You're tired because you're doing it alone. And that's the identity piece. That's the part underneath the exhaustion. It's the part that's underneath the competence, underneath the I've got this. And this is where the next episode starts to take shape, the double bind. Because Once capability becomes identity, you get caught in this loop. If I keep doing everything, I'll burn out. If I stop doing everything, things might fall apart. And that's the trap. And that's where we're going to go next. But for today, I want to leave you with something simple, a sentence that will help soften your whole system when you let it in. I am allowed to be supported. I am allowed to be supported. Just feel that in your system. Just receive it. I am allowed to be supported. Not later, not when you've earned it, not when you've hit a wall, but right now, as you are. So here's your reflection. Where in your life are you still performing capability instead of letting yourself be supported? That's where your next chapter begins.